the microphones work. For those of us live streaming out there, we hope the audio is working. Perfect. Okay. All right, let's try this again. My name is Billy Sears. I am the organizer of the Coffee Party of Greater Champaign-Urbana. We formed in the Champaign area back in March as an alternative to the Tea Party, as the name more or less suggests. Some of the key issues we've been working on locally and nationally, money in politics, Citizens United, that's more or less kind of the emphasis of what brought us here tonight. This is a free speech open mic. Pretty much going to be, an organic experience. Everyone's going to do their own thing, which we're very excited about. But just some background. I have notes because I have very bad short-term memory. After a ruling made by the Supreme Court on January 21st, 2010, it was declared that corporations were living, breathing human beings, and that us, we don't have that same inalienable right. Us organics. With Citizens United versus the Federal Election Commission, the Supreme Court ruled that corporations are persons entitled by the U.S. Constitution to buy elections and run our government. Human beings are people, corporations are legal fictions. This decision also made the term corporate personhood a household name for anyone who follows politics. What happened was almost instantaneous. We saw over $3 billion spent in the midterm races. That's the equivalent of $5 a voter. In a process already so overwrought with corruption, greed, and scandal, adding even more money to this process can only harm our representative democracy that this public was founded on, especially when the voice of the people is drowned out even more by the voice of money. Tonight's Free Speech Open Mic is just one of hundreds of events being held across the country to mark the anniversary of the Citizens United ruling. In Washington, D.C. right now, there is a summit being sponsored by the Coffee Party, the Backbone Campaign, and quite a few other different organizations focusing on educating citizens on what this decision means. If you would like to know more about who we are, seek out myself. We have Steve back there, pretty much anyone, in a Coffee Party t-shirt. We're glad that you're joining us tonight, and we would like to thank our friends at the Red Heron, specifically Ron Cannon, who helped us put this event together. Let's have fun.
Hi, my name is Ann Clements. I used to come out to the Red Herring almost 30 years ago now. And drifted away from it for a long time, but a couple of friends of mine suggested that I should come out to this thing, and when the second email came, I was like, okay, that's a sign, I gotta do this thing. So I'm going to very quickly try and tune up a little bit here and plug in my amp and make sure that's all working. And then I'm going to play a song, then my friend Jeannie is going to come up, and we're going to do 2 songs, and then the next victims will be in line. we doing for, good? All right. Totally not totally rock out of here. At least not at first. So, I get these emails. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go do this free speech thing. I'm like, what do I have that is all about the free speech and the political wonderfulness? Not a darn thing. Don't do a whole lot of political stuff. So I'm like, well, what can I fudge? And it turns out one of the cover songs that I've been working on lately, it's not about free speech so much as just freedom in general and being who you are and all that good shit. So I figured I'd do that. This is by a woman named Rebecca Blasband out of New York City. Mid-90s, put out a splendid album. I wanna be a cowgirl hero. I wanna join your cavalry. I wanna sing to the scorched out desert. I wanna be the one who is free. Gypsy Inga, she's my mother. She's rolled up inside of me. When you greet me, must greet the other. Courtesy, that's what she needs. And you can look to your west, and you can look to your east, and you can look all around, but you'll only find me. I wanna be a raging angel. I wanna sail over holy seas. I wanna be the winds of destruction. I wanna scare them all from me. I wanna be a cowgirl hero. I wanna join your cavalry. I wanna sing to the scorched out desert. I wanna be the one who is free. Alrighty, girl. Now if I can get Ms. Jeannie to come up here.
I wrote this song in mean, it got a lot of negative feedback at times. And I would tell people...
It's a good song.
I would tell people, it's not about the songs. I would tell people, my father got killed in Vietnam, so I got cred. I can write whatever I want. My family's going to pay it up. Uncle killed in Korea. Grandfather injured in World War I. And so anyway. Is that okay, guys? Can I bring this up? You think? Hey. Yes. I don't really know. I'm sorry.
That's okay. There you go.
You want to mic on that guitar?
No.
Just tilt that up a little bit for us.
Oh, you're great. See, I'm old, so can't see very good. Old hippie.
We love old people.
Yeah. Okay. Stood at attention, blinded by the sun. Felt like I was somebody, felt like I belonged. It was spring 2003, thought nothing could get to me in Iraq. I was just 19, I was young and I was green. I learned to shoot a gun, told to shoot at anyone. Saw so much damn blood turn red, the sand and mud in Iraq. In Iraq, my dreams went down in flames in Iraq. I'll never know their names in Iraq. Felt so ashamed in Iraq. I was young and I was poor. There was no open door. That recruiter said to sign I could go to college anytime. Sounded like a deal, almost like a steal in Iraq. We were told we were the best, never told about the rest, about the destruction and the death and the cries. We did what we were told. Once we were young and bold, how can they live with all their lives? My grandpa in Korea, my dad in Vietnam. So many souls come and they have gone. How many do they need to satisfy their greed in Iraq? Support the troops, they say. Nothing ever looks my way. The military doesn't care that I left my legs back there. How could I know then that I'd never walk again in Iraq? In Iraq, I never lose their will in Iraq. We should have had our fill in Iraq. The war is raging still in Iraq. I don't play guitar very good. Thanks for listening. Thank you very much. I'm scared. I'll jump in.
Alright, I guess I get to do this on my own. Fortunately, I have been practicing. Hopefully not. There's colors in the street, red, white, and blue. People shuffling their feet, people sleeping in their shoes. There's a warning sign on the road ahead. There's a lot of people saying we'd be better off dead. I don't feel like Satan, but I am to them, so I try to forget it any way I can. Keep on rocking in the free world. 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 A woman in the night with the baby in her hand under an old street light near a garbage can. Now she put the kid away and she's gonna get a hit. She hates her life and what she's gonna get. There's one more kid who'll never go to school, never get to fall in love, never get to be cool. Keep on rocking in the free world. 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 We got 1,000 points of light for the homeless man. We got a kind and gentle machine gun hand. We got department stores, we got toilet paper, we got styrofoam boxes for the ozone layer. Got a man of the people says, keep hope alive. We got fuel to burn, we got roads to drive, yeah. Keep on rocking in the free world. 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 Thank you very much. Oh, and by the way, if anybody's in town on February the 12th, come out to Bentley's. I'm doing a songwriter showcase with many, many, many good people from this town. So, something to think about.
Hi, it's me again. I just want to ask a question. Who here is, has an interest in politics? All right, that's awesome. I would say probably pretty diverse opinions from every one of us, right? As a nation, you know, we have a lot of differences, a lot. You know, we kind of fall into that left, right, liberal, conservative paragon. What has that accomplished? Can anyone tell me?
Chaos.
Chaos,
Division.
fight and division,
Stagnation.
safe nations,
Socialism.
death, socialism.
Oh,
Like I said, we've got left and right in there. Well, I'm just going to talk a minute about, you know, kind of my experiences. You know, I came into this just kind of, you know, I was disengaged. I mean, I didn't even really follow politics too much, but, you know, when the Tea Party came onto the scene, I was very open-minded about it. I fell into that media trap that says, you know, they're nuts. What we've learned is that's not necessarily true. We have a problem with our media in this country. Yes. There are
Who owns that media?
corporations.
Speak to it. Speak to it.
Corporations. What the trap we've fallen into here is that we've been led to believe by a very small minority of very rich people in this country that we're a divided nation, and we're really not. So, I mean, I don't know. What's everyone's thoughts? I'm just trying to fill time here, so. Anyone have any thoughts? Blank. Go for it.
No, I don't know. What's the question?
You can get up there so I can hear you.
Well, I guess where I'm going with this, I mean,
Hear me.
maybe what are some ideas we have on different ways that, you know, we can kind of come together on certain issues? I mean, what is something we all can agree on?
Well, this is how I feel.
Come on up.
I joined the SDS when I was in high school.
Okay.
I was at the largest demonstration against the war in 1971. I protested. They put so many in. They had put us in a football field. So I've been watching everything for a long time, and until we realized it's the very, very rich, and the rest of us we're done for. But the power is in the people and in numbers. And I tell my son every day, you know, there won't be a war over there if you guys just sit down and go, I ain't going. What are they going to do? Put all of you in jail? We need to come together as a people. But they're real smart, and they put all these distractions, give us all these, to make us feel like we have a choice. Democrat, Republican, it's the same thing now. It's the same thing. And but they give it to us, you know, black and white. Oh boy, they had a field day since Obama's been elected. It gets all distracted up here so they can do their stuff down here. And it's a very few of them. But I like what you said about the corporation, Jack. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, who's next up?
I have something to say.
Come on up. Come on up.
Part of my New Year's resolution was to stop living in fear, so here I am. But I read something, I don't know, on a blog the other day. It got me thinking about what has happened to debate in this country. And the purpose of debate is for both sides to learn something, and it seems that one of the solutions might be is sort of bringing back that spirit of debate, that with both sides being open-minded to listen, because a good debater can argue either side. And we've gotten so locked into just taking a stance and fighting and clobbering each other over the head to get an opinion put across without listening. And so that's going to be, I don't know, that's one solution that I've been thinking about is kind of rethinking and relearning what debate is all about, because I think we all have something to learn from that, and it's turned into debate has lost its flavor.
Yeah.
That's all. Thank you. That's it.
Anyone else have anything they'd like to add? It's open mic. Speak into the mic.
I'm not very good extemporaneously, so I'll just read a note of something I emailed to Speaker Pelosi not too long ago when they were discussing this tax reduction for everyone. And I thought it was apropos of what we were dealing here. I recently read a copy of the Declaration of Independence and shocked at how we've gotten back to where we started with all the abuse. But having already taken ownership of most of the country, having control over almost all of the government, and now the financial backing of their special interest corporate sponsors and multinational organizations, having the Supreme Court rule their interests equal to those of individual citizens. Though not bound by electoral limitations imposed on those citizens, the Republicans are incensed that their conspiracy to take ownership of those citizens has been progressing so slowly. If millions more have to lose their homes, go without food and shelter, be unable to afford an education, and die for lack of health insurance, the Republicans and their accomplices are determined to rectify the errors of the Declaration of Independence and the Emancipation Proclamation and reestablish slavery for all the socioeconomically disadvantaged and abused in this country and around the world. They bristle at the thought that those who lack power and resources would wage class warfare, while the rich never cease stealing from the poor to allow the privileged few to accumulate more wealth than they know how to handle. The rich do contribute to job creation because they have to hire people to manage all their money, a problem from which the rest of us are spared by their greed. Unfortunately, the money one of those managers controls could have created hundreds or thousands of gainfully employed workers contributing to the economy and society in general. The Republicans seem to lack historical perspective because they are in the most favorable position to prosper when everyone else prospers. But since capitalism is based on the exploitation and abuse of the socioeconomically disadvantaged, the inherent danger of greedy mismanagement and corruption of the system leading to the abused majority faring poorly brings us to our current situation. Historical perspective should demand the Republicans have more regard for those they are killing, because in the past, when the wealthy totally abused and ignored those that enabled them to live their privileged lives, it has not turned out well for the oppressors. Our country's creation was such an example, which cost Great Britain many lives and massive wealth. The French Revolution went poorly for the privileged and wealthy due to their total insensitivity to basic human needs of their fellow citizens. And the Russian Revolution less than a century ago plunged their country into a very dark period for those who failed to meet the basic needs of their people. Our country has experienced periods of violence in order to effect social change, but it has been limited by the fact that the people have had a voice to express their opinions, and politicians have lent an ear to those desires. The Republicans' display of a tin ear and tone deafness on a par with previous examples in history can only end badly, either for the poor or the wealthy. But considering the American spirit, I fear the poor will not tolerate too much more of this reprehensible reverse Robin Hood treatment, as the abused nears 75%. The few that display character, principles, and conscience by resisting the usurpation of this country for the total arbitrary benefits of the wealthy are the only hope to save not only the poor, but also to save the wealthy from their own demise. The wealthiest 2% doesn't even equal one family out of 100 people, so why are the needs of millionaires more important than the needs of the 98 people who made them rich? For the ultimate good of all 100 people, just say no to all debt-increasing tax benefits for the obscenely wealthy, because a declining nation of poverty-stricken workers will not enhance their futures or their prosperity. Thank you.
All right, who would like to come up next? Don't be shy.
Jeannie Cogswell would like to do.
Kid got here.
I didn't get to see it. I would like a second performance. Redo.
I
Yeah.
wrote a song for British Petroleum.
There you
It's a
go.
love song to British Petroleum. Rowdy kids, I'll tell you what. You just want to play the acoustic piano again?
Is there one?
If you want to play it, or you want me to just read the lyrics?
Dad's gonna play.
Play
Let's
it.
hear it.
Play it.
You got it?
Come on, let's do it. Other people want to say something.
Yeah.
Whatever they said, yeah. No, Kim.
Just don't look too promising, baby.
I'll just say nice things. Good, you did great.
Let alone.
Okay.
Oh, is it working?
You're not leaving, are you?
No, I'm not. Just getting my one.
It's okay if you play the clavinet. Is that clavinet?
Clavinet.
Oh, I think you said clavinet a long time ago.
Turn it on.
Kind of cool.
No, it's not turned on.
You want to turn it on?
Thanks so much for your patience.
Got a red line.
You know, the streets of this town, used to be, I mean, the kids here shut U of I down back in the maybe late 60s. A chapter of the Black Panthers here. This used to be a rap town. I'd like to see it be that way again.
Yeah!
Where's the lyric to it? No, it's not. Ocean from your mess. Work from sun to sun. Can it be done? Is anybody's guess? But one thing I know, you got to go and take your rig along. Tell the Queen, the English Channel is where those rigs belong. Where's the accountability? BP, tell me who has the responsibility? Why is it always on our backs we build your fortune and your fame? Even little people, they have a face, they have a name. You say you want your life back. Well, guess what? So do we. Nobody owns space and lies from sea to oily sea. BP. Where you get from? Tell me who has the accountability. BP. Tell me who has responsibility. Come on, everybody.
don't hesitate. You know, I mean, come on, we're all friends here. You know, I mean, if you have anything, just anything on your mind at all, just about the topic of free speech, corporatism, I mean, anything.
I want to hear the band.
Yeah, the band. Let's see the band.
You guys ready for the preview?
Let's see the band.
Maybe something, maybe a little acoustic number?
I saw that people come over now.
Hey, they should do something.
That was awesome.
I got a band coming up here. I wish I had.
Yeah, okay, sure. All right. And I would like to remind everyone, because a lot of people showed up, you know, after I gave my little spiel. We are live streaming this on the internet, and it's going to be archived as well. So, you know, it's going to CUCoffeeParty.com after tonight, and, you know, if you're up here, you'll be on live.
Nick, right.
Alright, so apart from playing awesome fiddle, I also play a lot of classical, mostly because I'm a violin performance major, so I'm gonna play some Bach.
Yeah!
Yeah! Alright, I just played the Gavotta from Bach's Third Partita in E major, so all these are dance movements, basically. I know you don't really feel like dancing, because, well, Bach was kind of crazy. So, yeah, this, however, is the prelude, and it's not a dance movement, but it's still pretty cool to listen to.
What's up, everybody? My name is Greg House. I'm the founder of Broken Rock. And I needed somebody to come up here and say something. And since I usually am not at a loss for words, I figured I would talk a little bit about the freedom of speech and the Second Amendment. I think it's a very good thing because it gives people like me that's politically incorrect, you know, hillbilly backwood rednecks, we can still say something, they can't nobody do nothing about it. So, it's a good deal. That's right. And you know, the funny thing about the Second Amendment is just 2 amendments later they decided to institute the Fifth Amendment, which, you know, it's kind of funny to me because the Second Amendment gives me the freedom to say anything I damn well want to, anywhere I want to. Like BrokenRockYonder.com, check us out, baby. You know. Or I got the Fifth Amendment that tells me, like my wife does occasionally, you need to shut the fuck up. Point blank, you know. So it's a pretty cool deal, but I was like, it should have been like the Second and Third Amendment instead of the Second and Fifth. Yeah. And what was the other 2 in the middle? Who gives a shit, right?
Who fucking cares?
We are going to play tonight for you guys, and I just want to let you know that I realize that there's some people I guess may have failed to show up. I see one lady with a guitar going to probably come up here and play shortly, which is a good deal. But we have, like in the past month, we have had like 170,000 downloads of our stuff on the internet. We've got friends around the world now, and they're all going to be tuning in at 9 o'clock Central Time to see us. The name of the band? The name of the band is Broken Rock. Nice little pretty horse head there. Don't worry. After we get done with you tonight, you'll never forget it, pal. I'll tell you that right now. All right. Now, in other news, let's talk about voting. I think everybody should vote. I think if you don't vote, you're an idiot, okay? Point blank. It's a free right. Use it. Use it. If nothing else, whoever's in office, vote them assholes out of office and give some other crook a chance to remix. Maybe they'll take less than the last asshole did. Yeah, and that's your own choice. You know, if you can't, I think that it should be like the multiple choice test from high school. We need to institute what I want to call the hillbilly option E, which is none of the fucking above. Let's get another set of people in here to vote for it. You know, it amazes me just from my own point of view how people spend so much money every election, and the only thing they do is say bad stuff about the other guys. It's no longer a choice of, hey, pick me for what I stand for and the things I've done. It's like, you need to pick me because that dude over there is a thief and a damn crook, all right? That's the way the commercials are, man. That's all I ever see. I don't care what they say or how they're saying it. They're basically saying that I'm a better choice than that asshole, or I steal less from you than he does. Very simple. I don't see how it works. I don't see how we elect the people we elect. I don't see how they're in office. And I think that the next election, the best thing you could possibly do is just send them all a ticket straight to, the Social Security line. Boo. Somebody say something. You know what? And why can I stand up here and say all this stuff? Well, first off, I am a hillbilly. Rome, Georgia. Born and raised. I will take the Fifth Amendment on that one. And I'm going to get off of here, and hopefully that young lady right there is going to come up here and impress us and sing us some music. Thank you, guys.
poems I like to read. Start with the more serious one, and then I'll end with the better one. This first one's untitled. Don't tell me this is all we can make of our lives. Cars, cell phones, laptops, iPods, all that crap. Maybe so only because I don't have any of these. Maybe I'm jealous. No, I can see what others can't. My eyes focus on this world while theirs focus on screens. Images of lives or what life should be. I'm not God. I don't have an answer for a way of a better living. But I know I'd rather climb a mountain than see a picture of it. You can't get mosquito bites and little bruises from reading about camping. You can't run out of breath and become soaked from sweat or catch a deathly cold from watching other people's adventures. And those little things we piss and moan about, I need them. Your music sucks, your TV sucks, your text messages suck, or I suck, who knows. But I'd rather die falling from a cliff than tucked away in a warm bed with cable TV mumbling in the background. That's right. This next one is dedicated to that girl right there.
Right there.
We build ourselves a submarine to sail under the sea. We build ourselves a submarine just for you and me. Made from scrap metal and broken aquarium glass, our submarine is beautiful. Our submarine has class. A big round window to watch the fish as they go swimming by. A library full of books in case someone needs to know why. A kitchen full of good foods, lots of foods to eat. A den with funny tables and a giant comfy seat. A periscope for us to see what's happening above. A bedroom with lots of blankets and a bed for making love. We build ourselves a submarine, and now we're going on our way. We build ourselves a submarine, but we'll be back someday. Thank you.
I didn't think I was going to come to this until a couple hours ago, so you have to bear with me here. But I am very glad that my friend Paul let me know what was going on, and I'm glad to be here with you all. I wasn't going to talk about this until I heard someone mention it, but I am a senior here at the university, and last semester I wrote my history undergraduate thesis on the student strike that took place here on campus in May of 1970, right after Kent State. It was a heroic time. There was, the strike lasted for 6 days. I mean, and this is 6 days with 2,000 National Guardsmen on campus. It was intense, and I've been involved in activism of different stripes since fall 2007, and I thought I'd seen a movement. And I went to the student archives, and I realized I didn't. The largest event that happened took place on the night of May 7th. It was a Thursday. There was a rally of 10,000 people, 10,000 students, community members, faculty on the main quad. And it was all about, ending the war in Vietnam, ending racism here. And I hope, we're students today, and we can bring that spirit back to this campus. I hope we do. I don't think I'm going to do it, but I really hope we do. So, and also, we will. But I'm a member of an organization here on campus, the International Socialist Organization. We, my friend Jesse and I, our group is going to be putting on an event here in the Red Herring. Thank you to the folks at the Red Herring for letting us rent out the space. It's going to be next Thursday, which is, what day is it? Sorry.
The day that Howard Zinn died.
Yes, Howard Zinn, the radical professor. And what it is there's going to be readings from Howard Zinn's book, Voices of the People's History of the United States. People like us are the people who make history. And I'm going to do a practice run, so to speak, tonight on a famous radical from the pre-Civil War era. His name is John Brown, and his body tonight is not moldering in the grave. It is alive.
Let me pass out flyers for it, too, real quick.
Okay, I'm going to start speaking. This is John Brown's last speech from November 2nd, 1859. I have, may it please the court, a few words to say. In the first place, I deny everything but what I have all along admitted. The design on my part to free the slaves. I intended certainly to have made a clear thing of that matter, as I did last winter when I went into Missouri and there took slaves without the snapping of a gun on either side, moved them through the country, and finally left them in Canada. I designed to have done the same thing again on a larger scale. That was all I intended. I never did intend murder, or treason, or the destruction of property, or to excite or incite slaves to rebellion, or to make insurrection. I have another objection, and that is, it is unjust that I should suffer such a penalty. Had I interfered in the manner which I admit, and which I admit has been fairly proved, for I admire the truthfulness and candor of the greater portion of the witnesses who have testified in this case, had I so interfered in behalf of the rich, the powerful, the intelligent, the so-called great, or in behalf of any of their friends, either father, mother, brother, sister, wife, or children, or any of that class, and suffered and sacrificed what I have in this interference, it would have been all right, and every man in this court would have determined it an act worthy of reward rather than punishment. This court acknowledges, as I suppose, the validity of the law of God. I see a book kissed here which I suppose to be the Bible, or at least the New Testament. That teaches me that all things whatsoever I would that men should do unto me, I should do even so to them. It teaches me further to remember them that are in bonds as bound with them. I endeavored to act up to that instruction. I say, I am yet too young to understand that God is any respecter of persons. I believe that to have interfered as I have done, as I have always freely admitted I have done, in behalf of his despised poor, was not wrong, but right. Now, if it is deemed necessary that I should forfeit my life for the furtherance of the ends of justice, and mingle my blood further with the blood of my children, and with the blood of millions in this slave country, whose rights are disregarded by wicked, cruel, and unjust enactments, I submit. So let it be done. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Jesse, as Eric already pointed out, and I'm also in the ISO. I will also be speaking on Thursday at our People Speak event. And I just want to do a couple pieces from this book. So yeah, I guess here we go, real quickly. This is Allen Ginsberg's poem, America. America, I've given you all and now I'm nothing. America, $2.27, January 17th, 1956. I can't stand my own mind. America, when will we end the human war? Go fuck yourself with your atom bomb. I don't feel good. Don't bother me. I won't write my poem till I'm in my right mind. America, when will you be angelic? When will you take off your clothes? When will you look at yourself through the grave? When will you be worthy of your million Trotskyites? That's cool because in the ISO we're Trotskyites, or Trotskyists. Okay, anyway. America, why are your libraries full of tears? America, when will you send your eggs to India? I'm sick of your insane demands. When can I go into the supermarket and buy what I need with my good looks? America, after all, it is you and I who are perfect, not the next world. Your machinery is too much for me. You made me to be a saint. There must be some other way to settle this argument. Burroughs is in Tangiers, and I don't think he'll come back. It's sinister. Are you being sinister, or is this some form of practical joke? I'm trying to come to the point. I refuse to give up my obsession. America, stop pushing. I know what I'm doing. America, the plum blossoms are falling. I haven't read the newspapers for months. Every day somebody goes on trial for murder. America, I feel sentimental about the Wobblies. America, I used to be a communist when I was a kid. I'm not sorry. I smoke marijuana every chance I get. I sit in my house for days on end and stare at the roses in the closet. When I go to Chinatown, I get drunk and never get laid. My mind is made up. There's going to be trouble. You should have seen me reading Marx. My psychoanalyst thinks I'm perfectly right. I won't say the Lord's Prayer. I have mystical visions and cosmic vibrations. America, I still haven't told you what you did to Uncle Max after he came over from Russia. I'm addressing you. Are you going to let your emotional life be run by Time magazine? I'm obsessed with Time magazine. I read it every week. Its cover stares at me every time I slink past the corner candy store. I read it in the basement of the Berkeley Public Library. It's always telling me about responsibility. Businessmen are serious. Movie producers are serious. Everybody's serious but me. It occurs to me that I am America. I am talking to myself again. Asia is rising against me. I haven't got a Chinaman's chance. I better consider my national resources. My national resources consist of 2 joints of marijuana, millions of genitals, and an unpublished private literature that goes 1,400 miles an hour and 25,000 mental institutions. I say nothing about my prisons, nor the millions of underprivileged who live in my flower pots under the light of 500 suns. I have abolished the whorehouses of France, Tangiers in the next go. Tangiers is the next go. My ambition is to be president despite the fact that I am Catholic. America, how can I write a holy litany in your silly mood? I will continue like Henry Ford. My strophes are as individual as the automobiles, more so. They're all different sexes. America, I will sell your strophes $2,500 a piece, $500 down on your old strophe. America, free Tom Mooney. America, save the Spanish loyalists. America, Sacco and Vanzetti must not die. America, I am the Scottsboro Boys. America, when I was 7, Mama took me to communist cell meetings. They sold us garbanzos, a handful per ticket. A ticket cost a nickel and the speeches were free. Everybody was angelic and sentimental about the workers. It was all so sincere. You have no idea what a good thing to party was in 1835. Scott Nearing was a grand old man, a real mensch. Mother Bloor made me cry. I once saw Israel Amter plain. Everybody must have seen a spy. America, you don't really want to go to war. America, it's them bad Russians. Them Russians and them Chinamen, and them Russians. The Russia wants to eat us alive. The Russia's power mad. She wants to take our cars from out our garages. Her wants to grab Chicago. Her needs a Reader's Digest. Her wants our auto plants in Siberia. Him big bureaucracy running our filling stations. That no good. Him make Indians learn read. Him need big black, N-word, sorry. Ha! Her make us all work 16 hours a day. Help. America, this is quite serious. America, this is the impression I get from looking at the television set. America, is this correct? I better get right down to the job. It's true, I don't want to join the army or turn lathes in precision parts factories. I'm nearsighted and psychopathic anyway. America, I'm putting my queer shoulder to the wheel. And then I wanted to do another one that this is actually the one that I'm going to do on Thursday. So I'd like to get a practice run. My friend Eric is saying no, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it anyway. All right. Let's see. So this is a longer one, but I like it anyway. And just bear with me, I guess. This is from Upton Sinclair's The Jungle, and I don't know if people know Upton Sinclair. He wrote The Jungle, which obviously exposed the meatpacking industry, and led to things like the FDA you know, more regulations on like food and meat and stuff like that. But Upton Sinclair was also a socialist. He was also a member of the Socialist Party. And so he wrote, and a lot of the stuff in The Jungle is actually about labor rights for the meat packers. It's about, you know, it's about the issues that the workers faced, not just about like the disgusting like conditions of the meat itself, but also of the workplace. So this is a section of the book where like there's people are just having a conversation and they're talking about like what, you know, what would a socialist society look like. So I'm just gonna start in here. So all right. Since the same kind of match would light everyone's fire and the same shaped loaf of bread would fill everyone's stomach, it would be perfectly feasible to submit industry to the control of a majority vote. There was only one earth, and the quantity of material things was limited. Of intellectual and moral things, on the other hand, there was no limit, and one could have more without another's having less. Hence, the quote, communism in material production, anarchism in intellectual, was the formula of modern proletarian thought. As soon as the birth agony was over and the wounds of society had been healed, there would be established a simple system whereby each man was credited with his labor and debited with his purchases. And after that, the processes of production, exchange, and consumption would go on automatically and without our being conscious of them, any more than a man is conscious of the beating of his heart. And then explained Schliemann, which is a character in the book, society would break up into independent, self-governing communities of mutually congenial persons, examples of which, at present, were clubs, churches, and political parties. After the revolution, all the intellectual, artistic, and spiritual activities of men would be cared for by such free associations. Romantic novelists would be supported by those who like to read romantic novels, and impressionist painters would be supported by those who like to look at impressionist pictures, and the same with preachers and scientists, editors and actors and musicians. If anyone wanted to work or paint or pray and could find no one to maintain him, he could support himself by working part of the time. That was the case at present, the only difference being that the competitive wage system compelled a man to work all the time to live, while after the abolition of privilege and exploitation, anyone would be able to support himself by, say, an hour's work a day. Also, the artist's audience of the present was a small minority of people, all debased and vulgarized by the effort it had cost them to win in the commercial battle of the intellectual and artistic activities which would result when the whole of mankind was set free from the nightmare of competition. We could at present form no conception whatsoever. And then the editor wanted to know upon what ground Dr. Schliemann asserted that it might be possible for a society to exist upon an hour's toil by each of its members a day. Just what, answered the other, would be the productive capacity of society if the present resources of science were utilized? We have no means of ascertaining, but we may be sure it would exceed anything that would sound reasonable to minds inured to the ferocious barbarities of capitalism. After the triumph of the international proletariat, war would of course be inconceivable. And who can figure the cost of war to humanity? Not merely the value of the lives and the material that it destroys, but not merely the cost of keeping millions of men in idleness, of arming and equipping them for battle and parade, but the drain upon the vital energies of society by the war attitude and the war terror, the brutality and ignorance, the drunkenness, prostitution, and crime it entails, the industrial impotence and the moral deadness. Do you think that it would be too much to say that 2 hours of the working time of every efficient member of a community actually goes to feed the red fiend of war? And then Schliemann went on to outline some of the wastes of competition, the losses of industrial warfare, the ceaseless worry and friction, the vices, etc., etc. You understand, he said, that in a society dominated by the fact of commercial competition, money is necessarily the test of prowess, and wastefulness the sole criterion of power. So we have, at the present moment, a society with, say, 30% of the population occupied in producing totally useless articles, and 1% occupied in totally destroying them. And this is not all. For the servants and panders of the parasites are also parasites. The milliners and the jewelers and the lackeys have also to be supported by the useful members of the community. And bear in mind also that this monstrous disease affects not merely the idlers and their menials, its poison penetrates the whole social body. Beneath the 100,000 women of the elite are a million middle-class women miserable because they are not of the elite and trying to appear of it in public. And beneath them, in turn, are 5 million farmers' wives reading fashion papers and trimming bonnets, and shop girls and serving maids selling themselves into brothels for cheap jewelry and imitation sealskin robes. And then consider that added to this competition and display, you have, like oil on the flames, a whole system of competition and selling. You have manufacturers contriving tens of thousands of catch-penny devices, storekeepers displaying them, and newspapers and magazines filled up with advertisements of them. So long as we have slavery, answered Schleicher, it matters not in the least how debasing and repulsive a task may be. It is easy to find people to perform it. But just as soon as labor is set free, then the price of such work will begin to rise. So one by one, the old dingy and unsanitary factories will come down. It will be cheaper to build new, and to the steamships will be provided, and so the steamships will be provided with stoking machinery, and so the dangerous trades will be made safe, or substitutes will be found for their products. In exactly the same way as the citizens of our industrial republic become refined, year by year the cost of slaughterhouse production products will increase until eventually those who want to eat meat will have to do their own killing. And how long do you think the custom would survive then? To go on another item, one of the necessary accompaniments of capitalism in a democracy is political corruption. And one of the consequences of civic administration by ignorant and vicious politicians is that preventable diseases kill off half our population. And even if science were allowed to try, it could do little, because the majority of human beings are not yet human beings at all, but simply machines for the creation of wealth for others. They are penned up in filthy houses and left to rot and stew in misery, and the conditions of their life make them ill faster than all the doctors in the world could heal them. And so, of course, they remain as centers of contagion, poisoning the lives of all of us, and making happiness impossible for even the most selfish. For this reason, I would seriously maintain that all the medical and surgical discoveries that science can make in the future, and of course this was in the 20s and 30s, will be of less importance than the application of the knowledge we already possess when the disinherited of the earth have established their right to human existence. So that's a definition of science. Be sure to check out our newspaper, Social Sport.
Hey, thank you. And they will be performing Howard Zinn's The People Speak on the 27th, Thursday, here at the Red Heron. Actually, it's going to be up in the chapel, correct?
I think it's going to be down here.
Okay, it's going to be down here. Okay. So yeah, if you're in the area, come check it out. We have another young lady. Are you ready?
So I need to set like 2 separate mics, so is one fine? Until now I had sworn to myself that I'm content with loneliness, 'cause none of it was ever worth the risk for you. The only exception to you, the only exception to you, the only exception to you are the only exception. I've got a tight grip on reality, but I can't let go of what's in front of me here. I believe that in the morning when you wake up, leave me with some kind of proof it's not a dream. Oh, you, the only exception to you, the only exception to you, the only exception to you are the only exception to you, the only exception to you, the only exception to you, the only exception to you are the only exception, and I'm on my way to leaving. Oh yeah, I'm on my way to leaving. Do you want me to do another?
Dump them out.
This one I didn't practice well enough, so I don't know how it's going to turn out, but we'll see.
What's that?
This is a cover by a band called Circus Survive. I don't know if anybody's heard of them, but they're pretty good. Oops. Oh, I changed the key.
already been up here once, but I hope you'll indulge me for a short one that pertains a little bit to the coffee party's kind of impetus there. This was a short email I included with a petition that was recently submitted to President Obama expressing my concerns or my opinions on the situation, specifically with the tax reductions on the rates. Trillions of dollars in debt, trillion-dollar deficits, a tax on the Social Security Trust Fund, which threatened the very lifeline of the majority in this country, proposed cuts in Medicare and Medicaid funding, on which the majority of hardworking senior citizens and the socioeconomically disadvantaged depend for their very survival, even without even giving single-payer improved Medicare for all lip service in the committee discussions during the health care debate that would have conservatively saved $300 billion annually while improving quality and access for all, then claiming, I am persistent. Where is the persistent when it's the right thing to do for the salvation of this country's domestic economy? My largest concern with your election was national security, which up to now you've addressed credibly, continuing most of the policies necessary to ensure our safety initiated by President Bush. But on the economic issues for which you were elected, your administration has demonstrated an alarmingly consistent pattern of surrendering to the corporate special interests that own this country and its government, and are now concluding their sinister task of enslaving the citizens of this country to support their superficial, greedy, selfish goals. Was bailing out the banks without accountability for CEOs' performance and compensation the right thing to do? Was guaranteeing healthcare providers, pharmaceutical companies, and insurance companies record profits while contributing to the deaths of 45,000 citizens annually because they lack insurance, without even considering the only plausible solution already adopted by the rest of the civilized industrial world, the right thing to do? From a lifelong Republican who voted for McCain to a Democrat who supported the majority of your goals, after the tax reduction capitulation, I will be voting for whomever is not affiliated with either of the worthless corporate political parties from now on, because they only represent the wealthy 2%, and that is the maximum percentage of votes to which they are entitled by their actions. For everyone who is truly fed up with the hypocritical lies spouted by the two co-opted parties, hijacked by the special interests and big money, I would suggest taking an old axiom to heart. One who continues to do the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, is a fool. Neither party, separately or together, is capable of representing the citizens of this country because they totally ignore the concerns and well-being of 98% of them. We do have the best government money can buy, and we are getting what we deserve because we vote based on the lies broadcast by hundreds of millions of dollars of false political advertising and biased corporate news reporting. I am sorry that you weren't persistent enough in your efforts on behalf of the middle class to earn my vote in the next election. But while I may not always be right, neither do I fancy myself a fool. The last decade and the current situation prove that votes for an alternative solution to the two parties are the only votes that aren't wasted. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah. Geez, who tightened that? I don't write a lot of political songs. They're more philosophical. It's an idea that just a simple thing. You want to change things, you have to do it. Put one foot in front of the other and make the changes you want to happen. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
old gospel stories, just which way the wind's gonna blow. Ain't no narrow-minded preacher gonna drive me out of my natural mind.
Amen.
Well, if I could feel my fate, I guess that'll seal my fate. Then I'll just peel my fate away. We need a fiddle player here now.
Hey, solo.
Well, I've been drinking, doing a little thinking too, about all the ghosts in my life and how I turned out to be such a fool. Oh, the dreams of a young man, they just came and they faded away. Well, if I could feel my fate, I guess that'll seal my fate. Then I'll just peel my fate away. When I'm walking, put my feet right down on cold, hard ground. The first time I ever performed on the stage was right here. I think in 1974, 3, 2, 1, I don't know, sometime. Make this take, well, I don't remember. I used to make my living playing some rockabilly music. This is one of the precursors of the rockabilly song. It's a Roy Brown song from 1946, and this is about tonight. Written specifically about tonight, 1946. Well, I heard the news. There's a good rockin' tonight. Yeah, I heard the news. Everybody rockin' tonight. I'm gonna hold my baby just as tight as I can. Tonight she'll know I'm mighty, mighty man. I heard the news. There's good rockin' tonight. Well, meet me in a hurry behind the bar. Don't you be afraid I do you no harm. I want you to bring along my rocking shoes, 'cause tonight I'm gonna rock away. Oh, my blues, I heard the news. There's good rockin' tonight. Stole all those Scotty Moore licks from early on. Yeah, I heard the news. There's a good rockin' tonight. Yeah, I heard the news. Everybody rockin' tonight. Yeah, meet me in a hurry behind the bar. Don't you be afraid I do you no harm. I want you to bring along my rocking shoes, 'cause tonight I'm gonna rock away. Woo! My blues, I heard the news. There's good rockin' tonight. You gonna rock? Come on and rock. Hey, come rock. Come on and rock. We're gonna rock and roll all while our blues away. Anyway, I think one of the scariest things that's
happened in the last decade or so, besides all the stupid wars for oil and all that, is that Supreme Court decision that just gave our government away to the corporations. I think we really have to stand up and just say this cannot stand. Whatever it takes. Just one step at a time. We've got to deal with that. Thank you.
Hello? Undo have to trying to kill myself in the process. Alright. I don't actually have any prepared text or anything like that, just some thoughts. I've been thinking about free speech, and especially with what has happened in the last couple weeks.
Spider.
Yes. Perhaps the spider would like to speak also. It has struck me that what has been going on is incredibly ironic. Whereas you have free speech, which is very important, and I know that may sound like kind of silly because it's so obvious, but it's such a dangerous concept. To be able to say what you wish to and have the right to do that. That virtually any idea can be expressed and shared with others, and because it can be shared, they can take that idea and go further with it. This is how movements are created. But the irony, of course, is that when free speech seems to cross a line, where instead of creating ideas that, or sharing ideas that are positive, that try to further people's rights or further ideas that instead are harmful or stifle, then it's where do you, or do you, stop free speech? Because the idea is so important that until someone says something, you don't actually know whether it's going to be harmful or whether it's going to be beneficial. Some of the, what I find to be really scary things that have been said and done in the name of free speech, targeting, literally targeting people with gun sights on their faces or on their districts. It's kind of scary. Do we stop free speech to protect our freedoms, or do we insist on free speech because that protects our freedom? There is such a conflict in what has been going on. We want to encourage people to speak out, and yet we also want to discourage others from speaking out. Where do we find the compromise? Do we compromise? I don't know. These are just random thoughts I'm having, and that I wanted to share because I'm wondering if anyone else is thinking the same thing. I hope so. Anyway, thank you very much.
Yes.
Mics and stuff, so.
I want to say something. This is only because, as a veteran, I know what I'm talking about. When you try to do things to stop a war or bring soldiers home, things like that, it put us in a lot of jeopardy. It made it to where we were unable to defend ourselves. You had to have permission to shoot back when you're being shot at. I mean, all these things are great, but the consequences of people's actions go much deeper than what they're thinking. It's hard for me to even talk like this because it's too emotional, but you really need to dig into the truth of what your words and your actions do. Because as much as the soldiers need your help, when these guys are taken from their homes where the sun shines and people play with each other and a little fight here and there, and they go to a place where they're watching things being ripped apart and children being killed and just nasty, nasty things. And then they bring them back here in this little cake world and they're all messed up. And people don't understand the suffering they're going through. But from what they've seen, you know, as a human being, it just tears you up. So, I don't have a real point except just think about what you're actually doing when you do something. Because the consequences are used by those in command to go against you. You know, so they make it so the soldiers can't defend themselves. More guys get killed. They get more of us wiped out. I call it the thinning of the herd. That's what war is about, in my mind. Because that's what they try to do to us. They try to thin us out. And that's what they're doing now. War is just a game for them to make money and to thin the herd so they can keep control. Okay, so you have to have a better idea and a better system than that before you go jumping in. You got to get the ideas together, make a real decision, and then actually do something besides people just talking about it. Because you watch our people in the house and those people talk on TV and they say, the 911 responders were so wonderful, yada, 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 yada. No, they can't have their insurance. I'm going to do this, but they don't do this. Everything is a two-faced lie. And we smile at them and talk to them and love them and act like they're just wonderful people. They are caught up in the same game as all the people there are. Just like if you become a police officer or in some position, you have to become a part of that club and act like that club or you're not accepted. So it's really hard, even when you get a good guy in there, he's going to be turned, whether he likes it or not. He's going to take the money. He might not feel good about it, but he's going to do his job. He's going to do what he wanted to do. That's just the way we are. You know, so we got to put all those things together before you think about some kind of action to make peace on the planet. It's a real hard thing, especially when you're kids. Somebody wants to be in charge. When you grow up, it's the same thing. Political people are the same thing. It's all just the same game of who's got the biggest money, the biggest game, the biggest toy. They're the ones in charge. They only need so many of us to keep them alive, so that's the game that they're playing. Thank you.
Where you going, fatty? Get your ass up here on these drums.
That's it, man.
I turned it off. I could change them. Your mics are back there. These are mine. So I'm gonna put
Everyone knows you're perfect. All you guys, I would stand. Thanks. up, please. There are no monitors. Check, 1, 2. Check, check, check. Check, 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 check. 1, 2. Testing. 1, 2. Check, 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 check. Put your ear right in there. I don't hear nothing. Check, check, check. Hey, are we still streaming live? Yeah. What the hell's going on, everybody out there? Woo! Little technical difficulty, but we're going to figure it out. I'm Greg House with Broken Rock. I know there's a lot of people watching us tonight, and we're glad you're here. I'd like to say a special hello to our friends down in Pineville, Kentucky. Shane and Michelle, Jesse Johnson, and Mitchell too. How about Dan and Dana Keniston in New Hampshire? What's up, folks? Dina Paul, Texas, how's it going? I'd like to say hi to my mom, but she's no longer around, but I'm doing this for her anyway. Check, we got monitors yet. Check, check, check. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 testing. I don't hear it. Check. Mic number 5 is down too.
Yeah, so we're still alive.
Yeah, we are still alive. I know I'm still alive. I feel it. Feel that juice.
Little powder arrow here in Illinois.
Well, we've been sitting here for a while, everybody. We heard some good music, and we heard a lot of good viewpoints from a lot of other folks celebrating the Second Amendment. It's a very good thing to be able to say what you want in an environment where people nurture the fostering of good ideas or healthy debate. It's always a good thing. Now, of course, we don't much give a shit about that stuff because we're musicians. We play music.
You hear a buzz when I'm touching the cable?
Check, check. No, I do not hear buzzing. We'll go ahead and peel through another one real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, 'cause
Engineer's trying to get the monitors up.
Anything unplugged over here?
We'll do a song off the first CD. I forgot the name of it. What's going on?
Oh, you sit down.
It's late at night, sitting here on the road, wondering what I do here, when you are the road. I thought I had you right by my side, when I realized you were way behind. What's going on? What am I gonna do? Where do I get the wheel? How do I get through you? What's going on? What's going on? We got you here. That was so very wrong. A lot of questions, it's so afraid to ask. And if you answer, I will come out back. What's going on? What am I gonna do? Where do I go from here? Do I get through you? What's going I question, you're always on my mind. My love for you makes my heart go blind. As time passes, I slowly drift away. Talking about tomorrow, 'cause now we come today. What's going on? What am I gonna do? Where do I go from here? How do I get through it? Thank you.
Yes.
Much better. You know, that's one of the good things about being a musician is kind of the freedom of speech. We get to write what we feel and we get to say it.
So, yeah, we're gonna dedicate this one to Uncle Sam himself.
The name of this one is Uncle Sam. The blanket, where are we? I'm going down in the land of the free. I'm going down in the land of the free. Got the job in the house, and I feel like a slave. Doing time in the home of the brave. Still doing time in the home of the brave. But what do you not know? Cause that's the way it looks today. I get up on the soapbox and hard through the head. And you down all in Frankfurt, can't pay their own damn bill. Mama told me you gon' need in those amber rays of grain and from my majesty. Amber rays of grain and from my majesty. My mom didn't live to see the day the bankers started begging, they needed saved. Bankers, they were begging when they needed saved. Is it still in your head? What do you not know? Cause that's the way it looks today. I get up on the soapbox, water through the hills. Man out all in bankers, can't pay their own damn bills. Can you help me please? What's going on in the the land of the free. What's going on in the land of the free? Lost my job and my house, and I don't have a break. What's going on in the home of the free? What's going on in the home of the free? It's still the USA, or just the U-Party. Pull it back away, it looks today. I've been up on the golf course and hollered to the hills. We're down all in night, can't pay their damn bills.
Great house, everybody.
I ain't a doctor, but I play one on TV, baby. All right, so we gotta go work.
If y'all didn't get that song, that was about the banker bailout, where they bailed out the bankers and didn't give us
Your
nothing.
taxes 66 fucking %. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're gonna do some
Free market system, right?
Yes, it is.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Bankrupt. That's what their whole theory is supposed to be about.
It's a good theory. It is. Working for them. It's amazing. It's a trip. The country we live in is the greatest in the world. Don't get me wrong, you know. But there's no saying. If the world didn't suck, we'd all fall off of it. We're going to talk about this in a little song that we wrote for a lady who had passed away. A few months after her death, her husband found a letter in her drawer when he was cleaning out her belongings. It was a letter the lady had wrote because she had cancer. She knew she was going to die. And I met her son, and he always carried a copy of this letter with him. And it really meant a lot to me, so we wrote a song about it.
Gotta write this letter, but I want you all to know I love you and told you so much, but it's not time to go. Remember all the million times with me for the night. But my best to raise you, all must understand. Sometimes it's hard to be alone, most expect you to be. I'll put the sun like my mountains over the giants on the tree. Sometimes you don't know if you come or go, so you just want to leave. If I were at times, that's all in the breeze. Change everybody. Remember the time in your heart, especially to us all. Remember the spankings and the bruise that you always heard. I won't try and give you breath with my very best. So we can face these changes you do. But now it's time for changing again. There's no way to leave the bands and build my way.
This next song we wrote about a young man from a small town just outside of Champaign here. He was well known, I guess, throughout the school and the neighborhoods for warm hugs and very warm welcomes, and the young man tragically died.
They found this young fella in a pond over here by McDonald's earlier, maybe 2 or 3 months back. His name was Aaron Williams. He was 19 years old, from Fisher, Illinois. He'd been in the water for, they imagined 5 to 7 days. I only briefly met him through my son because all the kids there hang out together, but he made a very big impression on me. And when the child died, which is tragic, nobody knows what he was doing in the pond or how he got there or anything about it, so it's probably some unanswered questions. But we remember our own. It's very important that you do that, because you never really know what you have until it's gone. And I mean, there's a family that's local to us who still hurts very tragically over this. And the only best thing we can do as musicians and songwriters is to try to put the thoughts of other people or our own into music. So we wrote this. We call it Aaron's Song. It's dedicated to Aaron Williams and his family. This is the first time it's ever been heard by anybody other than the people in this band. So this is, a first-time thing. We actually wanted to get it to his parents beforehand, but we're unable to. So for all you Facebook people that like Aaron Williams, this one's for you guys.
Aaron Williams, one horse down, a country boy right at home. Well, all the girls they run him down. Just poor woman being ever told. Many mornings in the summertime, with my son at my home, my home you could never find. Another angel's been called home. So we say goodbye, we just can't let you go. You're in our hearts now, you know. A father's son, a mother's pride and joy, a sister's best friend now home shore. Warm embrace was needed in heaven. Another angel's been called home. Now we say goodbye, we won't forget you. Another angel's been called home. You laugh, remember those great hugs. They'll still keep you warm, you know. See his smile before you through the trials. Another angel's been called home. We've been on one-horse town, a country boy right at home, a country boy, one of our own. Another angel's been called home.
Talk a little bit, Adam.
This next song we're going to do is kind of a lesson hard learned.
I learned it.
The hard way.
I'll own it. I'll own it. All right.
Whiskey education.
Years that whiskey alone. Like a dream, yeah, and you'll be late. It was way too much for me, you had a one man. It had crazy plenty, now all the rolling stars, and the love to leave that whiskey alone. Now I found another, learning all my own. Has been good to me, like we heard my phone. It worked out so well, we started drinking out the throne. And I learned to leave that whiskey alone. I used to like to drink that gave me lemonade. It all came to fun for me, a good old boy like me. It had crazy fancy, now the walls and doors gone. And the Lord gave me that whiskey alone. There's a moral to this story that easily can be said. Don't think that hard trouble is gonna make a man. I just end up sleeping and ain't broken set alone. They learn to leave that whiskey alone. They learn to leave that whiskey alone.
Spread out. Kind of like the Three Stooges sometimes. I'm Mo, by the way. That's Curly, that's Larry. Sometimes he's Shemp. Depends on how he wakes up. Okay, Second Amendment. Let's talk about it for a second. We live in a country that is dependent on dead-end technology for its survival, which is fossil fuel. I don't give a shit what they tell you. We are going to run out, just a matter of time. They better start fixing it now rather than later. We had like the biggest oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico this year. You know, it's just like bigger than all outdoors. Flip me out how long they just let this stuff pour and pour and pour and pour. And, you know, pay some money, you know, throw it the right direction, make a bunch of pissed off people happy by giving them checks, and everybody kind of forgets about stuff like that. But since everybody forgets about stuff like that, it's our job as songwriters and musicians to remind people about stuff like that. So we wrote a song, you know, the news never has anything good in it. Never. Not ever. Nothing good in the news today. So we wrote a song called Headline News. And oh my God, if we could only see the news the way we'd like to see it for once, it'd probably sound a lot different than it does right now.
Headline news today, it's a little worse yesterday. Gotta lay the ball in the Gulf of Mexico. We can't get away. It's all away. The sign of the times on the crusade. It won't go away. But maybe it will someday. we're gonna lose some red, white, and blue. That girl's dream. When it rolls down on me and you. The sign of the times on a quick shade. Walk away. At least not today. The TV newsman said the thunder in the Taliban against all untrue. Yeah, I mean you. Can't change their plans, I can change my mood, and you bet your ass that's what I'm gonna do. Hey, how about you? Now how's that for some headline news? Sign of the times on those shades, we won't go away. But you don't mind on election day. Sign of the times in the USA, it's time they pay. Get your chance on election day. Now how's that for some headline news? Now how's that for some headline news? Thank you.
Say something to some people. Exercise your Second Amendment up in here. You damn well know I'm gonna. I've never said this on camera or on the internet. I love you so much, man. He means the world to me. You do too, Dave, but come on. My child here. Come on. So what do you think we bust out the...
You're just prejudiced against long-haired people, that's all it is.
Hey, it's that hippie thing, man. Get a haircut and a real job. We're going to do a song off our first CD. You know, in the past 6 weeks, it's just been amazing what's happened for us. I've been on TV 3 times. I just came back from Los Angeles last night to do this show. You know, we're going to 160 MySpace friends to over 6,000, 170,000 downloads. We appreciate you guys so much. And we are not going to shut up, let up, back up, or fucking give up until we went around the world a few times.
Got you way back Everything by you a diamond ring, but the man I know sure can't sing. Every star in the country sky. There's a lot of big stars in the country sky. You can see them every night. Well, it's true, saying about you, but I don't return to the blue. Sometimes you see that little shepherd sounds so good, and we done came back from Hollywood. Strange, but it feels so good. As we play these country songs and get you home, sing along. I believe in Dixie Road and Jane Jones. Everyone is my dog to me all my life. Stars in the country sky, you can see it all people are crazy too, and how about you and dog and like we're watching running in your sleigh. Some of the guns, in the country sky. No, ain't sure he's still alive, because country boy, it's alive. There's a thing, country sky. There's a lot of big stars in the country sky, and Golden Rock's been notified. It's time to watch it shine. There's a lot of big stars in the country sky, you can see them every night. Watch it shine.
I'd like to thank everybody, especially our friends online. Be right back. Stop playing it. We appreciate you guys, man. We came here not so much for the people in the building, but for the guys watching. All of you guys, Hungary, the Ukraine, Antarctica, Sitka, Alaska, we love you guys, man. Thank you so much for buying our stuff and for supporting us. We did this because it's a live streaming internet, and we wanted you guys to see us first and foremost because you've been asking. You know, it's a little crazy to get a request to play in Antarctica or Sitka, Alaska, since it's an island. But you know what? Come hell or high water, I'm going to try to do all of it. All it takes is a little planning, a little preparation, a little execution. And that is Broken Rock's middle name. So folks, we're going to say goodnight, and I got 4 words for you. Want redneck? Get Broken Rock.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Remember the Second Amendment, everybody.
Thank you.
So we can't tear it down yet. Yeah, he's going to do it in place. Yeah, you already got it. You just got it in place. Good job, Nick. We're going to play the Watt City Theater June 25th. Well, we don't play bars. We only do theaters and big events. We command $2,000 an hour. We've done this for the people on board. Thank you so much. But we are playing the Watt City Theater. We played there last year with Aaron. And they invited us back this year to head on ourselves. Oh! You can find us. Mom side of it. Me too, man. Me too.
How do you guys? So good evening, everybody. My name is Dada Veda, and you may find me strange here. I'm a yoga monk, but I sing about a lot of things, and I'm very passionate also for the what we've been talking about for social justice. And I have a song. You may know that in 1992, Clinton ran for president, and then all the candidates anyway the same, but he had to distinguish himself, so he made a slogan. He said, "It's the economy, stupid." Well, I say he didn't go far enough. There's something more. That's why I wrote a song. It's called "It's the System." Everybody's talking about. Sorry. Everybody's wondering why the poor are growing poorer. Politicians say they're giving more and more. People scratch their heads while looking for a reason. If I tell you the answer, they may try me for treason. It's the system, stupid. It's the system, stupid. It's the system, stupid. It's the system, stupid. Tweedledee is running for election. Tweedledum says he'll give us some protection. Nobody's getting to the root of the problem. They're going around in circles without a solution. It's the system, stupid. It's the system, stupid. It's the system, stupid. It's the system, stupid. We're traveling together on a tiny green planet. Continue like this, there'll be nothing left on it. It's time to stop the plunder, the greed and the looting. It's time for some healing, some sharing and some caring. It's the system, stupid. It's the system, stupid. It's the system, stupid. It's the system, stupid. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You talk about raising the poor from the gutter, then take a look around you at the fat cat's clutter. He can live without his Rolls Royce and luxury toys. There'll be enough for all our girls and boys. It's the system, stupid. 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 Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, we're recording this for a CD. 2 years ago I was making a CD and my producer was a little bit conservative. He said, "Don't put this on, you'll lose your audience." But now I have a more radical producer, so he's going to let me do it. His name is Ron.
Yeah. I'll know what I like.
This song is about, we have, I guess it's close to 7 billion people now on this planet. But most of them, a huge amount live below the poverty. They live with $2 a day. What to think of the poverty line? And so this song is about these people. It's called As the World Spins Around. I've been playing it a lot, but now I'm experimenting in a different key. I hope I get it right. La 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 There's some people in this world without any voice. There's some people in this world without any choice, and they toil day and night, stuck in their plight. La 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 There's some people in this world taking everything, and they never stop to think what their actions will bring as the world spins around, as the world spins around. La 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 There's some people in this world with a spark in their soul, and they hear the others' cries, and they're ready to arise. La 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 Come on, people of this world, we've got to fix this place, bringing happiness and joy to all the human race. As the world spins around, as the world spins around. La 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 la. Everybody la la la's. La 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 la. Keep it up, you're doing good. La 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 la. As the world spins around, as the world spins around, as the world spins around, as the world spins around. Now we'll lighten it up a little bit. This is a children's song. It's called Love is the Best. I made it for children in the beginning, then we expanded it. Now it's for children of all ages. I was walking down my street, looking for folks to greet, skipping through the park, happy as a lark. Then I looked up to the sky. watching the birds on high, and I knew it was time to fly. That's why I love you. I love me. I love you. And I love me. Love is the best. Love is the best. I was sailing through the seas, catching the ocean breeze, twisting with the wind, watching the clouds roll in. Then I saw your shining face, breaking through the haze, brightening up my days. That's why I love you. I love me. I love you. I love me. Love is the best. Love is the best. I was strumming on my guitar, gazing at a distant star, humming a simple tune, and hoping to see you soon. Then I heard your calling song. It carried me along with your love so strong. That's why I love you. I love me. I love you. And I love me. Love is the best. Love is the best. Love is the best. You want any more?
Yes,
Okay.
more.
Okay. This is hasn't been performed and hardly any, a few places. It's a new song, not new, but for the public it's new. But I'm going to be recording it this week, and it's called "Now I See You, Now I Don't." I woke up this morning looking for you, could find no trace, I was feeling so blue. Searched the forest, searched the glen, wondering when I would see you again. Then I saw you in my mind, with a loving gaze, oh so kind. Now I see you, now I don't. Now I see you, now I don't. I know you love me, don't say you won't. Now I love you, now I don't. Now I see you, now I don't. You're hiding in the sky so wide, I'm chasing after, don't care for my pride. I thought I saw you on the ocean floor, I plunged within, looking for more. I'm gonna catch you, just wait and see. I'll stick around for eternity. Now I see you, now I don't. Now I see you, now I don't. I know you love me, don't say you won't. Now I see you, now I don't. Why are you playing hide and seek, when all I want is just one peek? I'm trying to follow your every move, you slip away, I can't find the groove. I'm not gonna give up, I'm not gonna quit. I'm gonna plant my heart in the place where you sit. I'm not gonna give up, I'm not gonna quit. I'm gonna plant my heart in the place where you sit. Now I see you, now I don't. Now I see you and now I don't. I know you love me, don't say you won't. Now I see you, now I don't. Now I see you, now I don't. Now I see you. Thank you very much.
This turned out pretty good, I must say. Thank you to everyone that came out. Thank you to Broken Rock. Thank you very much. We'll see you on the flip side. Go out and vote. Get involved.
Use your vote.
Yeah.
Good night.